Louisiana beer reviews. This morning we're looking at Hebrew Jewbelation Series Sweet 16. This is their 16th anniversary beer. They opened their brewery recently, although this one is brewed in Saratoga Springs, New York. There is a new brewery that Hebrew opened in New York in 2013. 22 ounce bottle. Make it simple. It's Kosher certified. There's a whole bunch of craziness written on here by Jeremy Cohen. Anyhow, it's made with 16 barley malt varieties and 16 hops. They don't say which. This was established in the year 5757 or 1996 if you're following the Christian calendar. Okay, 16% alcohol, like I said, kind of scary. I bought it at Morton Wine Cellar. It was $7.49 for the bottle. 94 out of 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Very good on Beer Advocate. On Rate Beer, it's 94 out of 100 and 70 out of 100 for the style. The style being American Strong Ale. So I'm sure it'll take me all day to sip this thing down. I mean, what are they going to do next year? Have 17%? I'm going to try to keep the cap kind of decent so I can put it back on. Holy smoly. Okay, not really any smoke. Ooh, that's dark. Well, it's dark and there's no head. I mean, there's the slightest bit of cream colored foam, but it's just really not any. The appearance is very dark brown. I was trying to see if there was any reddish tint, but I don't see any. Maybe just a lighter brown tint around the edges, but this is so dark brown. That's how you describe it. It's a dark brown beer with, you can see some little bubbles shooting up. That's about it. I don't know. I can smell it already and it smells so strong. Now I'm having flashbacks to the Super Brewed 15, which was, I had to dump it out. I could not drink it. I can't say it was per se bad. I mean, it was an F because it was undrinkable, okay? But it did have some good taste in it. I didn't like that chalk undertaste, like putting chalk in your mouth and chew. I don't know what that stuff was made with. And then you had even Earthquake High Gravity. I couldn't drink that. That 12%, that was undrinkable. Well, actually, I did drink it. That was the mistake. I drank the whole 24-ounce can and I vomited. But I knew that was going to happen with the Super Brew 15. I just gave up on it. I said, no way, Jack. So this could be another. If it's undrinkable, I have to give it an F. It's a failure. You can't. What's the use of buying a beer if you cannot drink it? Whether it has good tastes in it or not. Well, the aroma here is super strong, super sweet malts, barley malt. It's like brandy. It's just fruity to the hilt. It's like dark cherries, prunes, if you like prune juice, like fermented prune juice. So, you could make the argument that the aroma is good. To me, it's repellent because it's too strong. Let's go with the flavor. Okay, it's just like alcohol, super duperly sweet, I know that makes no sense, super duper sweet barley malt, 16 of them. can't really distinguish them. Raisins, cherries, prunes. There is some bitterness there. There's hoppiness. I don't know what the IBU is. Doesn't say. It's probably pretty high, but you won't detect it because it's so super sweet. It just cancels out the bitterness. It's like coming out even. There's some roasted aspects. The mouthfeel is medium, a little prickly from the carbonation, which isn't that heavily carbonated, and chewy, and you exhale and inhale and you get this mentholated alcohol, and there is sort of that chalk undertaste, but it's not like really the disgusting chalk that came in with the Super Brewed 15, that barley wine. It just got worse and worse. The finish is semi-dry. It's rich. It's not drinkable. I mean, you could drink it, but it's not drinkable. You know what I mean? It's sippable. I mean, you see these people, these guys doing these 40-ounce guzzles in 5 minutes. Here's a 22-ounce. There ain't no way that's going to happen. I wouldn't want to watch that video. Well, I don't watch those things anyway, but I surely wouldn't want to watch that. That would be bad. Okay, this one is going to be a kind of a divergent rating. Sort of like Super Brewed 15. It has flavor. It's got some rich, malty flavors, which are good. But I was fixing something over there. And it's sweet, and if you've had Bigfoot, it's like that, the Bigfoot, but it's more intense than the Bigfoot. So if you like rich, very malty, super sweet beers, it's got all that, and it's very well done, and it's an A, okay, in that respect. It's an A. It's most excellent. It's really, really, really nice. Some of the schmaltz stuff is really kind of blah, not bad, but just dull. But I mean, I think they've improved a lot in the last few years since I started trying their stuff. The Human Blockhead, barrel aged. Ugh, I screwed up with that. I drank the whole 22-ounce fast and had some issues with that. But excuse me. Well, it has some underneath carbonation, and there's some brown bread crust in the, when I burped. I didn't do that on purpose though with the Human Blockhead. That was an accident. That was an accidental nap on the carpet. But that is not going to happen with this because I know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to let it happen. Okay, so that's one way of looking at it. An A, rich, delicious, all of that. On the other hand, it's bad. It's a bad beer because it's too strong, it's too syrupy, it's too rich, it's too harsh, and you could barely drink it. I mean, you could sip it. It would take me hours to sip. I'm not going to waste it. It's going to take me hours to sip it. I mean, but it's a lot easier drinking than that Super Brewed 15. That was just a cheap bum juice, really, from Romania. I'm sure there's lots of lives ruined in Romania over that. But this, you can feel it in your head. I can feel it already in my head. It's warming my head up at 8:15 in the morning. When I got home from the Tulane football game last night, and I'm recording this on Sunday, I'm going to post it Monday. I don't think I'll do it post it Sunday, but I drank the two Miller 64s. I bought a 12-pack of that for a review, and those were pleasant to drink. I mean, I know they're kind of flavorless and very watery. But they're pleasant, you know. I was drinking them, doing stuff on a computer, looking at games on TV and stuff, checking scores, and I mean it was so pleasant, you know, just drinking it down, and you could, that's like ultra guzzable. I would rather drink the Miller 64 than this, even though it's got 2% of the flavor that this has, because it's a more pleasant beer, even though it's not as good. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like you have to put all the factors together. You have to kind of calculate all the factors. Miller 64, you can get it for sometimes $9.99 a 12-pack. It's light bodied, not particularly flavorful. It does have flavor though, and it's guzzable, and it's pleasant. It's $7.49 a bottle. 22 ounces. It's very flavorful, and it's very well made, obviously, but it's not really drinkable. It's not really particularly enjoyable. When you have to start making a strategy of how you're going to drink it the rest of the day, that's a problem. So even though this is, and that chalkiness, I'm telling you, even though this is better than Miller 64, it's worse than Miller 64 to me. And I've tried so many hundreds of rich, flavorful beers and super hoppy beers and whatnot. And the more I try them over these years, and the more I drink them and sample them and review them, the more I'm starting to want to drink light beers. It's like craft beers are pushing me into macro light beers. I don't know. I think I do know the reason. It's because those are more drinkable and they're better tasting in the overall scheme of it. And that you have to really speculate. This is like a deep speculative thing. What would I rather drink? This or Busch Light? Obviously, I would rather drink Busch Light. I think it's a better beer. In the overall application of the concept. So anyway, of course, you know, I'll keep reviewing the ultra craft beers, and I'll enjoy them and rate them fairly, but I don't know, there's a lot of thinking I've been doing about all of this. A lot of thinking, and people are ripping on, you know, they constantly ripping on the mass-produced beers, but and no one ripped on light beers more than I have over the years, although I've kind of stopped that the last 3 years. But it's like I started at point A in 1996, February 96, and I've gone through the journeys around the exotic places in the world, but I was so happy at point A in February 96 with Miller High Life, and it's like I've gotten back to point A, and I've realized that even though those, it's like, you know, all those wonderful places, the Emerald City, the land of the China people, you know, the Yellow Brick Road, and all of those fantastic places are wonderful and they're interesting, but in a way it's like there's no place like home. And this ain't home. Alright, so Le Bon Temps Roulé, this is an exceptionally good beer, a most excellent beer if you can stomach it and tolerate drinking the trash. And I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to typically warm like it is today, New Orleans!